Good morning, guys. In the last session, we have completed the discussion of objective questions of alkali metals of conceptual level 1, level 2, as well as level 3. In this class, we are going to discuss the questions of alkaline earth metals of conceptual level 1, level 1, level 3. Let's start with the conceptual questions. Here comes our first question. The electronic configuration of an element is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. The oxidation number of the element in its compounds can be. He has given the electronic configuration of the particular metal or particular element he has given, right? So from that he is asking us to identify the possible oxidation number of that particular element. So from the given electronic configuration you can understand one thing. So you can calculate the atomic number also, total number of electrons, and there are 12 electrons. So this actually indicates the electronic configuration of magnesium. Electronic configuration of magnesium is given. Generally we can write it as also neon in short form 3s2. We can write it as 12 electrons. Basically, so what is the possible oxidation state of group 2 elements? As they have 2 valence electrons, they lose these 2 electrons, and generally magnesium exhibits less 2 oxidation state in all its components. For example, if you are taking MgCl2 plus 2, its oxide, if you are taking magnesium oxide plus 2, so in all its components exhibits less 2 oxidation state. All the elements of the alkaline earth metals will exhibit the less 2 oxidation state. Now, next question. The number of valence electrons in magnesium atom, or we just have seen that what is the electronic configuration of magnesium. If you are writing electron, its atomic number is 12, neon 3s2. What is mean by valence electrons? Number of electrons in outermost shell. What is outermost shell? Third shell. How many electrons are there in the third shell? 2 electrons are there. So that what will be the valency electrons of magnesium? It will be 2. Because if it has 2 valence electrons, because of that reason it exhibits less 2 oxidation state that we have seen in the previous question. Now, here comes our next question. The element that reacts with cold water. Here, just look at the options. Magnesium, calcium, beryllium, magnesium and calcium. Which one can react with the cold water? Generally we know that beryllium does not react with water at normal temperature, whether it is cool or hot. Magnesium can react with only hot water. But calcium can only react with the cold water. Down the group, when you are talking about the second group elements, down the group reactivity towards the water increases. Generally beryllium being the first group do not react with the water at ordinary conditions. Magnesium cannot react with the cold water, it can only react with the hot water, and calcium can react with the cold water. So your answer will be cold water. Down the group, what happens? Reactivity towards the water increases in the second group. Now, next question is magnesium is an alloy of. This is we are studied in the uses of alkali earth metal. One of the use of magnesium. Magnesium is most widely used in the making of alloys in combination with the different elements. This is a particular alloy of magnesium. Magnesium, as the name suggests, magnesium plus aluminium. The alloy formed by the magnesium and aluminium is called as magnesium. Right? The name itself suggests it's an alloy of magnesium and aluminium. Now, the fluorospore is asking us to identify the chemical formula of fluorospore. Calcium sulfate, barium sulfate, calcium fluoride and calcium carbonate. Fluorospore is nothing but generally this calcium fluoride, one of the mineral of calcium, in general it is called as fluorospore. It's a direct question. A covalent metal oxide among the following is covalent metal oxide among the following. Here we have the options magnesium oxide, barium oxide, calcium oxide and beryllium oxide. Generally all of them are given alkali earth metal oxides. And we know that generally all these magnesium, barium, calcium oxides are ionic in nature. They are ionic oxides. Whereas this one, beryllium oxide, is covalent oxide because of the smaller size and high nuclear charge, high polarizing power of the beryllium. Generally all the compounds of beryllium will be having covalent nature because of that reason only the oxide of beryllium is also covalent in nature, whereas the oxides of other metals of the alkali earth metals are ionic in nature. So your answer will be the covalent oxide will be the beryllium. Now look at the next question. Which of the following metal cannot give flame test? The options are beryllium, sodium, potassium, calcium. This is a direct question from the second group, that is generally beryllium and magnesium of the second group are colorless for flame test, because being the smaller size and high metallic strength, their emitted radiation does not fall into the visible region, so that we cannot observe any particular color for the beryllium and magnesium. And as we have stated, sodium exhibits golden yellow, potassium exhibits violet, and calcium exhibits brick red color. And only the option will be beryllium. Beryllium generally does not give any color, right? Hope it is clear. Now look at the next question. He has given a molecular formula and asking us to identify the name. Here CaSO4 taken twice H2. It is a molecular formula of gypsum or anhydrite or alabastro or plaster of Paris. See, generally here, what is the general formula of plaster of Paris? We know that CaSO4 half mole of water is generally called as POP or plaster of Paris, we call it as. What is another way of writing it? It can be represented in different ways. That is CaSO4. If you take this is twice, what it will become? It become one molecule. One molecule of CaSO4 consists of molecule of half mole. 1 mole of CaSO4 consists of mole of water. If you take 2 moles of CaSO4, how many moles of water will be there? 1. This is another way of writing of what is this? Plaster of Paris formula. So this particular formula indicates the molecular formula of the plaster of Paris. And what is the molecular formula of gypsum? Gypsum will be why? Gypsum is generally, plaster of Paris is generally produced from the gypsum. When you heat the gypsum at 120 or 130 degrees centigrade, it will be converted into plaster of Paris. Right? With the loss of 1.5 mole of water, it will be converted into plaster of Paris. So this particular molecular formula indicates the composition of plaster of Paris. The molecular formula of gypsum. Just we have discussed that. What is the molecular formula of gypsum? Molecular formula of gypsum is CaSO4 and 2 moles of water in hydrated crystal. So where we have the right option? Yeah, this is not CaSO4 monohydrate CaSO4 by hydrate or dihydrate. Right? So this is your composition of the gypsum. The most abundant metal present in the human body is, what are the options given? Calcium, potassium, ferrous and sodium. These are the most abundant. These are all the metals that are generally available in the human body, and the most abundant will be the calcium. Calcium is generally, if you take the total percentage or mass of the calcium in the human body, it will be 1200 grams. This is the most abundant, and remaining will be very less abundant. If you are talking about iron will be around 50 grams in the total, and even potassium and sodium will be even lesser than that. So calcium is one of the most abundant metal in a human body. It is present in the various forms. It is the responsible element for the formation of bones. Bones is nothing but calcium phosphate. Generally we regard it as bones. It is one of the component of bones, as well as enamel of teeth is also formed by the calcium phosphate and calcium fluoride. So because of that reason, it is the most abundant element in the or metal in the human body. Hope it is clear. Your answer will be calcium. Right? Here comes our next question. Chlorophyll, the green component of plants contain. Chlorophyll, the green component of plants contains whether calcium plus 2 or beryllium plus 2 or magnesium plus 2 or beryllium plus 2. It's a direct question. Generally we know that the chlorophyll, the green pigment of the plants, generally consists, its main element will be the magnesium in plus 2 oxidation state. Magnesium in plus, this is one of the important under the discussion of biological importance of calcium and magnesium. We have discussed that magnesium plays a very important role in plants, that it is a major component of the chlorophyll. Now, this makes the completion of the conceptual question of alkaline earth metals. Now, let's move to the level 1 of alkaline earth metals. Under the level 1, here comes the first question. Alkaline earth metals cannot exist free or naked because the metals are. Try to understand the question. He is asking us the reason why alkali metal generally does not exist in the free nature. Why they generally exist in a combined state. What is the reason for that? Because of their more reactivity, because of their soft nature, or because of their solubility in ammonia, good conductor of heat and electricity. Generally, what decides the whether an element exists in the free state or combined state in the nature? Its extent of reactivity will decide. Suppose if it is very less reactive, inert, it will exist in elemental state. If it is highly reactive, it will exist in combined state. So generally, because of the more reactive nature of alkaline earth metals, they generally do not exist in the nature in the free state. Always they exist in the form of combined state. The next question. The metal used to remove sulfur from petrol. This is also we have discussed under the applications of or uses of alkaline earth metals. That calcium is under the applications of calcium we have discussed that calcium is used in the refining of petrol. Particularly, it will remove the sulfur from the petrol. So, in order to remove the sulfur from the petrol is actually extracted from crude material which associated with various impurities such as sulfur and nitrogen. Especially to remove the sulfur, we use the calcium. Now, calcium metal is used to produce high vacuum because it is also one of the application of calcium. That we have studied the uses of calcium also. Generally, what happens? Calcium being very reactive, it will use to create the high vacuum spaces since it will readily combine with oxygen and as well as nitrogen present in the atmosphere and helps us to create the vacuum. So, what is the reason? It can remove water, it can remove oxygen and nitrogen. It is a good reducing agent or it is highly electropositive in nature. Because of its high reactivity, it will readily removes oxygen and nitrogen, which helps in the creating the vacuums. Because as you know, atmosphere majorly contains hydrogen and nitrogen. 99% of the atmosphere here will be composed of oxygen and nitrogen. If you remove that, it will be useful in the creating of vacuum spaces. Next question. Which has no existence as solid? Try to observe the options given. Here he is asking us which of the following do not exist in the solid state. Sodium bicarbonate, potassium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate, magnesium carbonate. This is we have discussed in the diagonal relationship of lithium with magnesium as well as under the compounds of bicarbonates of alkaline earth metals. Generally, magnesium bicarbonate does not exist in the solid state. It exists only in the aqueous state or in liquid state. Remaining will exist in both solid state as well as liquid state. Here comes our next question. The consequences of diagonal relationship between beryllium and aluminium are. Asking the consequences of diagonal relationship of beryllium and alumina. Just go through the options. Beryllium and aluminium are not attacked by acids readily due to the presence of an oxide field. Yeah, this is actually a true statement because beryllium and aluminium are passive towards concentrated acids because what happens when they are exposed to the concentrated acids, their surface metal atoms present on the surface will react first and they are converted into metal oxides, which will prevent the further extent of reaction of this metal with the acid. This particular nature we call passive nature. Both beryllium and aluminium exhibit the passive nature. And let us see the second option. Beryllium and aluminium ions have strong tendency to form complexes. Because of their smaller size, both beryllium plus 2, Be plus 2 and Al plus 3 are having a stronger tendency for the formation of complex. It forms various complexes like BFO4 minus 2. And aluminium also will form complexes like because of their smaller size as well as the larger charge, they have a tendency to form the complex compounds. Beryllium and aluminium halides are strong Lewis edge because they have the vacant orbitals. If you are talking about the beryllium chloride or aluminium chloride, because of the presence of vacant orbital with beryllium as well as aluminium, they act as a Lewis acid. What is meant by Lewis acid? The compounds which will tend to receive the lone pair of electron are called as Lewis acid. What is the required condition for a substance to be Lewis acid? It should possess vacant orbitals. Now, because of the presence of vacant orbital, both beryllium and aluminum act as a nuisance. This statement is also correct. So, these are all the consequences of diagonal relationship. So, what will be the answer? All the above will be all the above options are correct. All because of the similarity, because of the diagonal relationship only, both of them are having a similarity in these following properties. So, this is a consequence of diagonal relationship between the beryllium and aluminum. Would you clear? Now, look at the next question. The final product of setting of plaster of Paris is. Generally, see what happens. What is plaster of Paris? CaSO4 plus half H2O call it, half mole of H2. When you dissolve in bone, plaster of Paris is widely used in the making of statues and bone settings, etc. This plaster of Paris solid powder, when it is dissolved with water, it will be converted into calcium sulfate and 2H2. What is this? This is gypsum. Gypsum. This is orthorhombic gypsum. When you heat it, it will be converted CaSO4 2H2. This is orthorhombic and this is monoclinic. So finally, what it is getting on setting, it will be finally converted into gypsum. It is CaSO4 2H2 is generally called as gypsum. So plaster of Paris on setting, it converts into the gypsum. Cement contains mainly, under the discussion of cement we have discussed that cement mainly contains what are the required raw material for the cement? Limestone, that is calcium carbonate. Clay, what clay contains? Silica and alumina, right? So what are the main components of calcium carbonate is limestone, and as well as alumina and silica are the main components or raw materials, as well as gypsum, CaSO4 2H2 is also used. What are the main components? Calcium, silicon, aluminium, oxygen. So among the given options, what is this? This field is the most appropriate composition of the cement. Mainly contains calcium, aluminium, silicon and oxygen as components. Major components we are talking. The ATM forms a complex with ATM, adenine triphosphate, generally forms a complex with which of the following? Iron. Under the discussion of biological importance of magnesium and calcium, we have also discussed that magnesium in animals is essential for the various enzymes such as phosphotransferase, phosphohydrolase, which are essential for the ATP mechanism, metabolism. They helps in producing energy from the ATP. So Mg+2 is a ion which is essential for the ATP complex formation. This makes the completion of level 1 questions of alkaline earth metals. We will move to the level 2 questions. The alkaline earth metals that does not lose its metallic luster when exposed to air. Here we have a question about their metallic luster. What is meant by metallic luster? Shining nature of the metals are called as metallic luster. Which of the alkaline earth metal does not lose its metallic luster when exposed to the atmosphere? This has been already discussed in the properties of alkaline earth metals. That is beryllium. Beryllium is generally does not affected by atmospheric air because of its less reactivity. Among the alkaline earth metals, generally beryllium is the least reactive one because of the strong metallic bond strength. So because of the strong metallic bond strength, it does not affected by atmospheric air under normal condition. What is the reason for the loss of metallic luster of alkaline earth metal? When they are exposed to the atmospheric air, they will react with oxygen present in the atmosphere, and the surface of the metal will form metal oxide. Once the surface metal atoms are converted into the metal oxide, they loses their metallic luster. What is the reason for the metallic luster of the metals? Excitation and de-excitation of electrons present in the metal when exposed to the light. So once this metal is converted to metal oxide, there will be no excitation and de-excitation of electrons, by that they loses metallic luster. But beryllium being unreactive towards atmospheric air under normal condition, it does not lose its luster readily. Among the second two elements, Now, which of the following has no reaction with water? Here also the similar sort of question regarding the reactivity of beryllium. Whenever you are dealing with the second group elements, remember that generally reactivity decreases from beryllium to barium, increases from beryllium to barium in the second group. That means beryllium being less reactive and barium will be the more reactive in maximum cases. So because of the, what is the reason for the less reactivity of beryllium? Because of its strong metallic bond, because of its high heat of atomization. Because of these reasons, it will be generally less reactive towards any substance. So in a similar manner, it will also not react with water under normal condition. It neither reacts with the cold water, it neither reacts with the hot water. It generally in the normal condition, it do not react with any form of water, unless until it is treated with the steam. So among this second group, beryllium is generally having no reaction with the water. Magnesium can react with hot water, barium and sunshine can react with the cold water also. Even with cold water or hot water, anything they can react. Now, here comes our next question. Which does not form peroxides? Which does not form? Here also, you can also take all these questions are related to beryllium only. Beryllium have some anomolar behavior in the second group because of its smaller size, high polarizing power, absence of d orbital. So whatever the questions we are getting, basically these are all from the behavior of beryllium. In second group elements, beryllium generally does not form peroxide. It forms only monoxide. That is beryllium monoxide. Whereas rest of them, generally when you are moving down the group, tendency for the formation of peroxides and superoxides increases. And generally the first element of each and every, if you are talking about the first group, lithium can also does not form any peroxide or superoxide, it can only form monoxide. In the similar way, beryllium will also form only monoxide, it does not form any peroxide and superoxide. Now, magnesium bursts in air giving two products, their formulas. Whenever you are treating magnesium with atmospheric air, basically atmospheric air consists of oxygen as well as nitrogen. It forms magnesium oxide with oxygen. Right? In the same manner, the major component of atmospheric is nitrogen also. We will also combine with the nitrogen to form nitrite. Nitrite. So, what is its formula? We need to get here. 1 second. Okay. Mg3N. Take 2 moles of this, 6 moles of this, and 2 moles of this. So that we will get 2 moles. But it's balanced. So what are the products formed? One will be magnesium oxide and other will be the magnesium nitrate. So let us see which option suits us. Magnesium oxide, and this is not the proper formula of magnesium nitrate, and this is magnesium. What is this? Magnesium peroxide. This is not magnesium oxide, and this is magnesium nitrate. Here the formula of here we don't have the magnesium monoxide. This is magnesium monoxide and magnesium nitrate. This is your proper option. Right? Here also the formula of oxide is not correct. Right? This is about the reaction of magnesium with atmospheric air. Now, let's go to the next question. Beryllium hydride and magnesium hydride are prepared using following reagent. Basically, beryllium hydride cannot be prepared directly by the reaction of beryllium and hydrogen. It has to be prepared indirectly. Basically, when you are treating this beryllium, lithium aluminum hydride, for example, if you take the beryllium chloride on reaction with the lithium aluminum hydride, it will form beryllium hydride. Beryllium hydride plus lithium chloride plus aluminum chloride. So, if you want a balanced equation, take 2 moles of this and 2 moles. In a similar manner, magnesium hydride can also be prepared. So, generally, beryllium hydride and magnesium hydride are prepared by the reaction of their chlorides with lithium aluminum hydride. What is this? This is called lithium aluminum hydride. It's a complex hydride. It's a complex hydride. Look at the next question. Which of the following metal is used in the preparation of Grignard's reagent? Grignard's reagent is one of the important reagents which is generally prepared by the reaction of alkyl halides with magnesium in presence of dry ether, it will forms RMgX. This is we call Grignard's reagent. What we call it as Grignard's reagent, which is very essential in the organic synthesis. It will be used to prepare various organic compounds. You will come across various reactions by Grignard reagent in organic. So, which is basically composed of what? Magnesium. Grignard reagent is basically prepared by using magnesium as a constant element. Now, the correct order of hydration energy of alkaline earth metals. What is meant by hydration energy? Energy released when a particular ionic compound is dissolved in water. What happens? Both ions, cation as well as anions, will be surrounded by water molecule, and that process is called as hydration, and energy released during that process will be called hydration energy. Smaller the ion, larger will be the extent of hydration, and more will be the energy released. So hydration energy generally inversely proportional to the size. Hydration energy will be what it is? Inversely proportional to the size of ion. So generally what happens? Tell me, from beryllium to barium, what happens? Size increases or decreases? Size increases. So that what happens to the hydration energy? Hydration energy decreases. So what will be the correct order? I think in the first section itself we have the correct answer. Beryllium will be having the largest hydration energy because of its smaller size. It can retain more number of water molecule, more amount of energy will be released. As the size of the metal ion increases, extent of hydration decreases, and hydration energy also decreases. So that from beryllium to magnesium, magnesium to calcium, calcium to strontium, strontium to barium, what happens? Hydration energy of alkali earth metals decreases. This will be the decreasing order of hydration energy of alkali earth metals. It is clear. If you look at the next question, which of the following hydrate are covalent polymeric? Beryllium will be. Basically, we know that beryllium hydrates are covalent as well as polymeric in nature. What is meant by polymeric? Because of the electron deficiency, they will form. They undergo polymerization. They exist in this particular form. This is we call. This particular bond will be called what we call it as 3-centered 2-electron bond. We call it as 3-centered 2-electron bond. It is polymeric as well as covalent. Beryllium is the only element of the second group which will form polymeric hydrides as well as polymeric halides in the second. Now look at the next question. A firework gave brick red color flashes it contains. A firework, generally when you are using various fireworks will contain different colors. To get various type of colors, you need to use a different type of compounds. When you are using a particular compound of a particular element, you get a particular specific color. In the same manner, when fireworks gives us a brick red color flashes, what might be the compound is asking. Basically, under the second group elements, if you are talking alkaline earth metals, which will give the brick red color? Obviously the calcium. The first two metals, beryllium and magnesium, does not give any color. These are colorless, right? And this what is this? Calcium will give brick red. Calcium will give brick red, and strontium will give crimson. Barium will give happy green. So what should be the compound? It should be a compound of calcium. What is the given option that contains calcium? Calcium chloride. This type of logic you need to put whenever you discuss such type of. It's an application of concept we call it as. Generally, we have discussed that calcium will be having brick red color. So any compound of the calcium can be having a brick red color. If you are using a compound of calcium, then we give it. But we use most suitable compound for the fireworks. So calcium chloride will give the brick red color. Now, look at the next question. When magnesium burns in steam, the formula of the product are magnesium burns in steam. Steam means what? Hot water vapors are called as steam. When you are treating magnesium with this is nothing but steam only. The hot water vapor will be called as steam. What is the possible reaction it will first cause? Whenever you are treating alkali earth metals with the water, they form corresponding hydroxide with the liberation of hydrogen gas. So if you want a balanced equation, take 2 moles of water, it will form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So what should be the products when magnesium is burning when you are treating with? What is because it will be at high temperature. So what are the products? Magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas will be formed when you are treating magnesium with the steam. Now here comes our next question. The solubility in water is more for barium carbonate, beryllium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. All the given answers are from the alkaline earth metal. Generally, we know that when you are talking about the solubility of carbonates of secondary or alkaline earth metal decreases from beryllium to barium. What is the reason for this? Due to generally when you are moving beryllium to barium, what happens? Decreasing lattice energy is more when compared with decreasing hydration energy. Decreasing lattice energy will be less when you compare with the decrease in hydration. Hydration energy decreases more than lattice energy. That means, otherwise we can say decrease in hydration energy will be more than decrease in lattice energy. When lattice energy decreases less and hydrogen energy decreases more, then what happens? The overall lattice energy will be relatively more than the hydrogen energy. So that what happens? Solubility decreases. So from beryllium carbonate, what happens? Solubility decreases. So what is asking? The soluble, which of the following is soluble? Basically, this beryllium will be more soluble, remaining will be sparingly soluble or insoluble. Like barium carbonate will be insoluble, and remaining will also be sparingly or partially soluble, and beryllium will be completely soluble. Which of the following is more basic? He has given the hydroxides of second group: beryllium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, barium oxide, magnesium hydroxide. We are talking about the hydroxides of alkaline earth metal. Basicity increases from beryllium hydroxide to barium hydroxide. So beryllium hydroxide is least basic, barium hydroxide is most basic. All are second group elements, so directly you can go with the barium hydroxide is the most basic hydroxide of the alkaline earth metals. Which of the following is highly water soluble? When you are talking about the solubility of hydroxides of alkaline earth metals or second group, it basically increases from beryllium hydroxide to barium hydroxide. What happens? The reason is same. What happens here? Decreasing lattice energy is more when you compare with decreasing hydrogen energy. So that means down the group what happens? Hydrogen energy decreases less and lattice energy decreases more, so that solubility increases. So what we can say, which of the following is highly soluble? Barium hydroxide is highly soluble. The reason is understood. Look at the next question. The thermal stability of alkaline earth metal carbonates decreases in the order. When you are talking about the thermal stability, what is meant by thermal stability? The temperature where they decompose. Greater the temperature of decomposition, greater will be the thermal stability. When you are talking about the thermal stability of alkaline earth metal carbonates, from beryllium to barium carbonate, thermal stability increases. That means beryllium carbonate decomposes at relatively low temperature, whereas barium carbonate decomposes relatively at high temperature. Hence we call barium carbonate is thermally more stable and beryllium carbonate is thermally least stable among the carbonates of alkaline earth metals. So what will be the order? So if you look at barium carbonate, calcium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, so this will be the decreasing order among the alkaline earth metals, right? Hope it is clear. Look at the next question. Which of the following is different from other three oxides? Here we have certain set of oxides: magnesium oxide, tin oxide, zinc oxide, lead oxide. He's asking what is the difference. See, basically magnesium oxide is basic in nature, and this tin oxide, lead oxide, zinc oxide are amphoteric in nature. What is mean by amphoteric? They can react with both acids as well as base, and being basic it can only react with acids, it cannot react with the bases. So these three are amphoteric and this is basic. So what will be the different? Magnesium oxide is different from the other three oxides given in the question. Hope it is clear. Let's move to the next question. Read the question. The compound formed when an alkyl halide reacts with magnesium ether. This is we've already discussed. When alkyl halide reacts with magnesium ether, what it will form? It forms RMGX. What is this RMGX is called? It is called Grignard reagent, essential and a very important reagent. We are going to have a lot of discussion about this Grignard reagent when we discuss organic chemistry. Then you will understand the importance of the Grignard reagent. So far you just remember that it is prepared by the magnesium on reaction with alkyl halides in presence of dry ether. It's a compound of magnesium which are called as organometallic compounds. Look at the next question. The pair of amphoteric hydroxides are. Basically, we know that in the second group, which is amphoteric in nature, beryllium is amphoteric in nature. So that beryllium oxide, beryllium hydroxides are amphoteric in nature. As well as lithium hydroxide is also amphoteric. These two pair of hydroxide, beryllium and as well as zinc hydroxides are amphoteric in nature. But if you look at this, aluminium is amphoteric but lithium is basic. These two are not amphoteric. He is asking to identify in which of the option both the hydroxides are amphoteric. This is the option right now. If you look at this, here this is basic, here this is basic. So right option will be the first one. Beryllium hydroxide as well as zinc hydroxide are amphoteric since they can react with both acids as well as bases. Look at the next question. Acetylene can be prepared by adding water. Acetylene. What is mean by acetylene? Acetylene is nothing but C2H2 or H2C2 whose structure will be, this is we call acetylene gas, or in organic chemistry we call it as ethyl, and it can be prepared generally when you are treating calcium carbide with water. It will produce calcium hydroxide plus what it is producing? Acetylene gas which is producing. Take 2 moles of water. So what has to be treated with? Same on the given option, limestone cannot be used. What is limestone? Calcium carbonate is called limestone. This is on treating with water, you don't get the acetylene. Quicklime is nothing but calcium hydroxide. And hydrolith is calcium hydrate, and calcium carbide is the compound which gives the acetylene on reaction with water. That will give the hydrogen gas on reaction with water. Hydrolith will give the hydrogen gas. This will give the calcium hydroxide, and this will also give the calcium hydroxide. Look at the next question. Potassium superoxide. It is superoxide. Potassium superoxide. Right? It is used in oxygen cylinders in space and submarines because basically potassium superoxide is used in oxygen cylinder as well as submarines. So hope you know the submarines. Basically the ships, certain sort of ships which will be in completely underwater of oceans, in ocean God generally use. Navy uses these submarines. Basically they contain potassium superoxide because of 2 reasons. When it is combined, first of all it absorbs carbon dioxide. With absorption of carbon dioxide, it also releases oxygen gas. It also releases oxygen gas. So because of this particular reaction, on combination this will also combine calcium carbonate. Oxygen gas it creates. Now, because of this particular reason, it is used. Absorbs carbon dioxide and increases the oxygen. A mixture of beryllium hydroxide and ferric hydroxide. Ferric hydroxide we call it as, because iron is in +3 oxidation state, can be substituted by easily treating it. See here, what is the distinction? Which of the following tests has to be used? First of all, this is basic in nature. Sorry, this is amphoteric in nature. This is basic in nature. So with what you have to treat? Both of them will react with acids, right? Both of them can react with this is also acid, this is also acid, and this is what? It is a salt. What you have to use? You have to use a base to separate them. Why? What happens when you are using a base? Beryllium hydroxide can react with the base, but ferric hydroxide cannot react with the base. Because of that reason, in order to separate these two, you have to treat it with the sodium hydroxide. When you are treating the sodium hydroxide, barium hydroxide being amphoteric, it reacts with both acids as well as bases, so that it can react with the sodium hydroxide. Whereas ferric hydroxide being basic in nature, it cannot react with the basic. So this particular reaction will help us to separate beryllium hydroxide from iron hydroxide, ferric hydroxide qualities. Answer will be the fourth option, that is sodium hydroxide. The solution of magnesium chloride in water has a pH will be less than 7, right? Since H plus ions will be more in concentration, right? Because of the acidity. Magnesium of the following. Sorry, which of the following is a good dehydrating agent? First of all, you should know what is meant by dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent means the one which removes water from the surroundings will be called as dehydrating agents. The tendency of attracting water will be called as dehydrating agent. Among the given options, concentrated HCl, anhydrous calcium chloride, sodium nitrate, potassium carbonate. This unhydrated calcium chloride, what is meant by unhydrated? Which is not having any hydrated water in the molecule, will be called as unhydrated. And this particular unhydrated calcium chloride has high tendency to absorb the water from the surroundings or atmosphere. Because of that reason, it is widely used as a dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent. Here comes the next question. Beryllium compounds are largely covalent because most of the compounds are beryllium are covalent in nature, whereas the compounds of other metals of the second group are ionic in nature. He is asking what is the reason for the covalent nature of the beryllium compounds. What is the reason? Electronegativity of the beryllium is very high. Polarizing power of beryllium is very high. This is the reason. High polarization power of beryllium is responsible for. What is meant by polarization power? Because of the smaller size and large charge, it will largely deforms. Its polarizing power will be more. When there is a more polarizing power, the tendency to deform the electron cloud of anion will be more, so that it develops a more covalent nature. Covalent nature will be directly proportional to the polarizing power according to the Fossan's rule. So based on this particular reason, most of the compounds of beryllium are covalent in nature. Hope it is clear. Both beryllium and aluminium reacts with sodium hydroxide and liberates. Both beryllium and aluminium reacts with sodium. This is we have already discussed under the diagonal relationship of beryllium and aluminium. On reaction with sodium hydroxide, they will liberate hydrogen gas. Suppose if you are talking beryllium, it is on reaction with sodium hydroxide, it forms Na2 BeO2, right? Plus H2 will be liberated. Take 2 moles of this, and aluminium also on reaction with NaOH, it forms NaAlO2 plus H2 gas integrates. Take 2 moles. So both of them will liberate hydrogen gas. What is the X in the equation? He has given an equation. What is happening? When calcium oxide is treated with 3 moles of carbon at 3273 Kelvin, it forms calcium carbon plus carbon monoxide. So what it is formed? Calcium carbonate will form. Look at the next question. What he has given? This is gypsum. What is this? This is we call it gypsum. When gypsum is heated at 120 degrees, what it will form? It forms plaster of Paris. What it will form? It will form plaster of Paris. What do you call it as? Plaster of Paris. When gypsum is heated at 200 degrees centigrade, it will form calcium sulfate. This is called burnt gypsum. Burnt gypsum or dead burnt plaster also it is called. What it is called? Or it is also called dead burnt plaster. It is called. Now, when you are heating this CuSO4, it will form CO plus SO3 gas. So, what are the compounds? This is calcium oxide, or we call it as a quicklime or lime we call it as. So, he is asking us, he has given an equation when calcium sulfate is heated at 120 degrees, it will be converted into plaster of Paris. When calcium sulfate 200 is heated at 200 degrees, it will be converted into calcium sulfate anhydride, or it is also called as dead burnt plaster. When this calcium sulfate is heated strongly, it will be converted to calcium oxide, which is also called lime or quicklime, along with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. And what is asking? He is asking us to identify A, B, and C or respectively. What are A, B, C? As we have already found out what are A, B, C. What is A here? A is a plaster of Paris, and B is a dead burnt plaster, and C is calcium oxide or lime we call it. That is, what is A? A is plaster of Paris, this is correct only. B is dead burnt, this is also correct. But calcium or sulfide is said, this is wrong. So we are getting calcium oxide, not calcium sulfide. And look at the second option, dead burnt plaster. Whether A is dead burnt plaster? No, B is dead burnt plaster. So this is also wrong. Look at the third. A is plaster of Paris, B is dead burnt plaster, and what is this? This is lime or lime oxide. So this is your right option. Hope it is clear. This makes the completion of level 2 questions of alkaline earth metals. Hope it is clear up to here. The remaining will be continued in the next class. Thank you.